everyone. Welcome to Make It Make Sense with Monique Pressley. I'm your host, Monique Pressley, and I am thankful that you are here to join us today. We're here every weekday, Monday through Friday, live at noon Eastern Standard Time, and my pledge to you is that we truly are trying to make things make sense. So we are dialing down the noise, the rhetoric, the bickering, the back and forth, and bringing you the information you need most. It will be fact-driven, it will be data-driven, and if there's commentary, it will be supported by facts and data. We commit to bringing you the truth. And today, we are talking about something that nobody ever really wants necessarily to discuss, but they absolutely need to discuss, at least long enough for it to be handled. And then if you don't want to talk about it anymore, you don't have to. But we're talking today about plans for what happens when you are gone. What happens when you leave to go to the next spot in your journey? And I used to do a seminar on this called Don't Leave a Mess When You Go to Meet the Messiah. Get it? I cracked myself up. If I had to call it something else, I would say where there's a will, there's a way. Because what we do when we don't make these plans is we leave no way or a hard way forward for those who remain after we're gone. So we are trying today to make wills and trusts make sense. I used to do a segment on News One Now, on Roland Martin's show News One Now a while ago. And like I said, I would call it Don't Leave a Mess When You Go to the Messiah. But it really is the truth. There is nothing like somebody dying that can make for a messy mess in a family. Like, you meet sides of people you never wanted to meet, you learn things you never wanted to know. People get attitudes, people start staking positions, people fight over pots and pans, people have all kinds of opinions who didn't never have no opinion during the whole time that they could have been visiting Granny and them. They weren't there at all. But the minute they gone, oh, they wanted that silver punch bowl and they had their eye on that chaise lounge, and they just know that the rental property was left to them, and such and so on, and come all kinds of accusations. And like I said, it's a mess. It's a mess. And there are ways, quite simple ways actually, that you can avoid that mess. And it actually is one of the most loving, responsible things you can do. For those of you who are spiritual at all, who read your Bible at all, then you know that being a good steward is important. But it's not just being a good steward over the things that you have while you're alive. It's being a good steward unto death. We read scripture and we get so excited about it that you're going to have an inheritance that you'll be able to leave to your children's children. But if you die intestate, you might be leaving it to Junebug and them. You don't know. You don't know. So the only way to ensure that you get the right decisions made for you, not just for your things, not just for your property, for your car, for your punch bowl, for your jewelry, for that good outfit that you love to wear, those jeans you promised to leave your cousin. Not just that, but other things. Like, what happens if you're incapacitated for weeks, for years? Who's making those decisions? What happens if they need to do life-saving measures and no decision has been made, and you got 3 kids and 2 of them liked you and 1 of them didn't? What happens? So the time to make those decisions is now. And I see all of you in the comments saying how much you need this information. Well, here's what I need you to do right now. Share with a few friends and tell them I want them to get the live experience so that they can ask questions at the end, because that's what I'm going to try to do with the time that I have. I'm going to give you as much information as I can. And then if you have questions, use the little question icon at the bottom, and I will try to get to some questions. So let's get started. Where there's a will, there's a way. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Yes, I am a lawyer. But am I your lawyer? No, I am not. This is informational. I am teaching you information you need to know today. This is instruction. And part of the instruction that I'm giving you is please do seek out legal advice. If you need it, if you can afford it, or if you have a way to get it within means or free, then do. But the things that I'm going to give you today, whether you see a lawyer or not, you're going to get some marching orders. You're going to get some websites that you can go to. You're going to get some sources for information that I trust. So if you take what I give you today, plus the sources that I'm giving you, you will be all set. As long as you know, nope, don't come back to Monique if it don't work out and your kid's still fighting, because Monique did not advise you. Monique provided you information. We clear? Hearts on the screen if we're clear. Okay. So I have been, for a few decades, following Susie Orman. Do you guys know who she is? She is a financial investment guru, just bar none. She's good at what she does. Anything regarding money, right? You got a little bit of it, you got a lot of it. You trying to spend it, you trying to invest it, you trying to grow it, you trying to keep it. Do you need insurance or don't you? What kind of information do you need to have in order to set up your estate? And then to our point today, how to protect your tomorrows today. Because if you're really powerful, you're not just powerful in this life, you're powerful in the next. And one of the things that she always says is power attracts money and powerlessness repels it. So whatever we're thinking about making these plans, and for real, y'all, people of color, black folks and us, we're the worst. I'm not making that up. I was just looking at a Gallup poll. What's the date on it? June 2021, not even a year old. And even with the pandemic, guys, it's still younger folks by large making less plans for having wills, never mind trusts, never mind advanced directives, DNRs, all of that. I'm explaining all of it. Don't get thrown off by the terminology. But Americans age 65 and older, more of them have a will. About 3/4 say they have a will. Upper income Americans, more of them have it than lower income. No surprises there, even though that's an error. People with more education and people who are white more than non-white have wills. But you know what? It's not really just a question of because we're black, we're poor, and we don't have wills, or because we're Latinx and don't have money. Black folks with a whole lot of money die intestate. Intestate means without a will and testament. Die without anything written down, with businesses that have been in the family for generations, with property, with rental property, with cars, with all kinds of things, and no provision for how it should be disseminated upon death, because it's a cultural thing that we think if I plan for my death, I'm gonna die. If I talk about death, it's gonna happen. It's not though. It's not though. That's not true. That's not true. What you'll actually find is quite the opposite. That the more you're ready with a plan for eventualities, the freer you are, the less burdened you are as you live your day to day. And yes, the more you gain, because I'm speaking abundance in your life, every show I'm speaking abundance, the more you gain, the more changes you may have to make. But let's start somewhere, y'all. Protect your tomorrow's today. So back to Susie Orman. Susie says that there are 4 documents that you must have. 4 of them that you must have. And I have been following Susie, and I have always agreed with her about this, and agreed with her even in terms of the order of priority on these. I would stake my law degree, my entire law career on it, because what she is saying is sound financially, it's sound legally, it's sound culturally, it's sound spiritually. It makes good sense, good old common sense. So I am offering it to you today. And I'm going to give you the sources for it so that you can also follow it and look up these answers for yourself. But she says there are 4 documents we need. Okay. There are our must-have documents. Advance directive, durable power of attorney for health care, a will, and a living revocable trust. You guys, you can take a screenshot of this, but also know I'm going to post this. I'm going to post this. And you guys, you need to understand, you want to talk about free game? You're not just getting free game. You're getting free knowledge. You're getting free decades of experience. You're getting Susie's experience. You're getting my experience, Susie's know-how, my know-how. I teach detailed seminars on this where you would be paying, but I am coming to you today for free because this is a service. You need this information. And Susie says, which I agree with, 4 documents you gotta have: an advance directive, a durable power of attorney for health care, a will, and a living revocable trust. And the most important one of those is the living revocable trust, but I'm gonna break them all down. How many of you, I'm looking in the comments, how many of you know even what an advance directive is? Never mind having one, but do you know what one is? And the other thing that I want to say is, these are documents you need to have today. I don't care if you're listening to me and you are adults, children, not necessarily, although they could write something down if they want to leave their sister this, leave their sister that. I agree, that's a little morbid. But this pandemic, people, if the pandemic hasn't been enough to show us right now, advance directive, durable power of attorney for health care, a will, a living revocable trust. People are saying no, they don't know what these things are. They don't know what an advance directive is. I am so thankful you are on here today, because you're going to know when you're finished. Because we watched in this pandemic, as my grandmother would say, people dying that ain't never died before. That's what she used to say. I used to giggle. My cousin Shannon and I used to giggle. I don't giggle anymore. She meant people dying unexpectedly. People dying, you didn't even see it coming. And we have had almost 1 million people to die that we didn't see a pandemic. We didn't see COVID-19. We didn't see Delta. We didn't see Omicron. That wasn't on anybody's bingo card for life. That wasn't on anybody's plan. And now we're looking at wars upon wars. And I don't say any of that to scare us. I say that so we will do what's necessary so that we can live light and so that we can move forward freely. But I'm preaching, and this is not supposed to be preaching. This is supposed to be me teaching. All right. So let's figure out what these things are. An advance directive is a legal document that allows you, in advance of you getting sick, to give a written directive to your doctors so they know what to do and what not to do, is what I would tweak and add on there. So it's a legal document that allows you, in advance of getting sick, to give a written directive to your doctors so they know what to do and what not to do. Now, we've seen that, again, with the pandemic as our frame of reference just one reference point for today. I'm giving you guys all a chance. Take your screenshot, do whatever you need to do. And I see people, I'm praying for you who have been going through things since pandemic and going through unexpected death and going through probate and wills and dealing with property and all of that. Yes, sir. That's why I'm here with this today. So if you have this legal document, it allows you in a circumstance where, say, you unexpectedly have a cough one day, are intubated the next day, and now your spouse, your minor children, your mama and them, your siblings, all have to figure out, what would you want? We can leave him intubated or not. We can give her life-saving measures or not. This document enables you, in advance of any of that happening, have an opportunity to tell your doctors, if I code, yes, I don't care if you got to be pump, clear, shock, clear, pump, breathe, pump, breathe, for 3 hours. Bring me back. Okay? That can be your advance directive. Somebody else may be near the end of life and they may say, no, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. Leave me unbothered. If I code, do not resuscitate. That's DNR. Some people think that a DNR is the whole of an advance directive. It's not. It's a part of the advance directive saying, do not resuscitate under these particular circumstances. And you can be very detailed in that. You can be very detailed. It can be that if they have to do just basic CPR, yes. If they have to do multiple shocks, no. If they would have to intubate you, no. It can be up to you. You could say yes to intubation for this period of time. You may want them to control and assist you with breathing, but you don't want them to pump your heart for you. You can be very detailed about the things that you want, and it can all be in an advance directive, which is you sitting down with hopefully your right mind, or whatever reasonable portion of right mind we have, and with all your thoughts together in saying, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. That's an advance directive. Let's go to the next one. What if you can't make that decision for yourself? What if something happens suddenly and decisions need to be made that are not included in your advance directive while you are healthy, while you are in your right mind? You name a trusted person to oversee your medical care and make healthcare decisions for you if you are unable to do so. So maybe you do your best planning. You say, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. Something all the way random comes up. Well, sir, your wife is 6 months pregnant. We can do this to save the baby. We can do this to save her. We can remove this organ, ma'am, in order to save your husband, but it will have this particular healthcare risk. We have his advance directive. We have his do not resuscitate, his DNR. It doesn't cover these things. Durable power of attorney for healthcare names your trusted person. Do you have somebody you can trust? Who do you trust? Do you trust your spouse? Or do you think your spouse would be too emotional and you would prefer it be your sibling? Do you have a durable power of attorney for healthcare, but it's got your mom on it and your mom's been deceased for 2 years and you haven't gone back to update it? Is it the case that you don't trust any of your blood family members and it's a friend who you know loves you, knows you well, and would do what you want, not what they want for you, which is a common issue among family. Don't let mama go. And mama been gone. Mama would have left y'all 3 years ago. Y'all holding on to mama. Mama is not holding on to y'all. Name a trusted person to oversee your medical care and make health care decisions for you if you are unable to do so. So advance directive, your love letter to your doctors. Do this, do this, do this, don't do this. Now we got durable power of attorney for health care. Your trusted person. So if something comes up, you know what? Millie got it. That's she would be so mad at me for saying her name on here. But my durable power of attorney for healthcare and for most other life decisions is my cousin Millie, because I know she knows me, she loves my children. She will make the decisions I want made. She is not going to make decisions on her own behalf. Okay? So do you get yourself a Millie? That's what I think. So that covers all of our health concerns. Can you guys imagine how many people in the past 2 years have had to make these types of decisions without this guidance? Without it, never mind, just the paperwork of it. We've had so many people who have had loved ones who were one day feeling badly and the next day were in intensive care, and then 3 hours later were intubated, and the loved one couldn't even go in. Couldn't go in to see them, to talk to them before they were intubated, to figure out what their wishes are. We're communicating with them on FaceTime, in the emotion of the moment, saying goodbye, who were watching plugs get pulled, watching people be taken off life support via FaceTime, and no decisions made whatsoever about what to do in their medical care, having to figure it out all just off the cuff. And when emotions are high, and when situations are stressful and volatile and anxious and worrisome, and when all of these competing concerns are going on, you make the worst decisions possible. The worst decisions possible. So you can alleviate that for yourself and for your family. Anybody you say you love, you can make their life easier. If something happens to you, you can make it easier with an advance directive and a durable power of attorney for healthcare. Now that's different than a durable power of attorney for all circumstances. You may need one of those. Bruh man, sister girl. You end up in a other kind of situation where it's not really your health that's on the line. You might be on the wrong side of the law. Blink twice if you understand me. You may need a power of attorney because you won't have control over what happens to your money, what happens to your accounts, what happens to your house, what happens to your car. You may have property end up getting seized. Mama, you may have a son who's driving your car, who's doing something he don't have no business doing. And the car is locked up in the impound lot with whatever's in it, and you can't assert control over it, even though you're the one that's bought it because it's in his name. You might need a power of attorney. You might. But I'm not doing criminal defense law right now. We're staying on protecting our tomorrows today. So that was just a free one. That was free game for sure. That was free game from your non-lawyer. So we've covered if there's a health care situation, if there's an emergency, if there's an unexpected or expected situation in your upward in years with your advanced directive, with your durable power of attorney for health care. What's next? A will. A will. Susie says you need a will and you need a revocable trust. Do you know the difference between the two? Let's go with a will first. Real simple. A will is a legal document that says where your assets should go upon your death. What are your assets? Anything you have. It's your money. It's your personal property, any assets. It's your stocks, your bonds. It's your insurance. It's your investment portfolio, even if it's a 401k or it's some sort of IRA account, whatever it is that you have. It's all those things. It's grandma's watch that was passed to your mom that was then passed to you. It's your toaster. It's your favorite pair of dirty tennis shoes. It's your leftover set of contact lenses. All of those are your assets. And why do I point out those specific examples? Because this legal document controls all your assets. So that this is not for just rich folks. This is for not so rich folks. This is for I'm not rich, but I got some stuff. This is for I barely got a pot to piss in and a window, throw it out. Whatever it is you have, if it's something that you care enough about that upon exiting, you want to make sure, I don't have much, but this, you might be thinking, this is my favorite gumbo pot because Granny made her gumbo in this pot. Then Mama made her gumbo in this pot. And then when Mama went on, she gave me this pot and she gave me this cast iron skillet. And it's been cured the right way for 50 something years and it's still smoking. And I want my eldest niece, Sarah, to have this pot. And I do not want my daughter, who does not cook and will throw it in the trash and not understand its value, to have this cast iron skillet. She gonna put it in the washing machine and ruin the work of 3 generations. I'm serious about my cast iron skillets. Can you tell? You can't really fry fish right if you don't. I mean, it's just some things. Cornbread, hot water cornbread. I'm Southern, y'all. I'm real Southern. So most of my examples are Southern. Southern mess, Southern cooking, just Southern. So you need a legal document that says where your assets, everything you own, you need a document that says who's going to get it, where it's going to go. But according to Susie and also me, the will is not the easiest document. It's not the one. If you have anything that you don't want your children to have to fight through probate to get. So if you have a nice sterling silver ring or two, some shoes, few candelabra, etc. and so on, yeah, put that in your will. And also in your will, if you have children, minor children, guardianship can be set up. You can name the guardian for your children. Your baby daddy did not have custody of your children in life because the courts found him unfit. You want to make sure that if you suddenly die, that he doesn't get them in death, that it's not revisited. You need documents for that. Did y'all know that? You need documents for that because otherwise he will be the surviving parent and he will be the presumed custodian unless otherwise is established. I made every single mama prop both eyes open right there. But it's the truth. And I've been in court battles with family, with grandparents, with mama and them, with daddy and them, with everybody fighting over minor children. Fix it. What if you and your spouse have minor children? You leaving for Mexico. Something happens. Neither one of y'all come back. You want the peace of knowing exactly what is going to happen with your children. If you have money, you want to know that the money's set up right. If you got insurance, you want to know that the insurance is going to be named to a guardian who's going to be appointed over their estate to make sure that they are taken care of. If you just want to make sure that your mom and them don't get your kids because you didn't even let your mom and them really visit while you were alive, you got to name a guardian, bruh. You need a guardian, sister girl. Send some hearts if I'm making sense. I know y'all might be sitting with your family while you're watching. You don't necessarily want to clap the way I'm clapping, but I'm telling you the truth. So you have to have that in writing. A legal document that says where your assets should go upon your death. But while you can name, I want solid gold casket, mahogany interior, my black suit with the gold buttons, I still care about my shoes, even though nobody's going to see them. As a matter of fact, cover the middle of my body, have it where they can see my shoes, open casket for the wake and the funeral. You can say all that. You can make all of those things very clear. You can say whether you want to be cremated, whether you want to be buried, which cemetery, what kind of service you want. All of those things. A will is a great place for all of that down to your toothbrush. What is it not a great place for? Assets like property that would get tied up potentially for years and cost a whole lot of money to get it resolved. Because what is the truth about a will? If you have a will, which you should, no matter what kind of will you have, it's going to have to go through probate. And then once it goes through probate, then it's going to be executed. And you will name a person who will execute the estate and your will take effect. But that can be costly and it can be time consuming. There's another way. Living revocable trust. We are on the fourth of our 4 documents for today, which means if I was Baptist, I would be at least at my first close by now. What did Susie say that I agreed with? You need 4 documents, right? You need 4. You need the advanced directive, right? You need the advanced directive. You need the durable power of attorney for healthcare. That's 2, right? You need a will. Take care of all your who's who and what's what. Who's going to get what? How do I want to be buried? Where do I want to be buried? Don't bury me at all. Cremate me. Empty my ashes over the Golden Gate Bridge. Here's everybody's ticket. I want all 4 of y'all to go. I bought y'all open-ended return tickets, and here's your hotel. Have some food in Chinatown on me, and then drop my ashes off the Golden Gate Bridge. If they don't let you go on the Golden Gate Bridge, then just be at the base of the bridge and do a ceremony. You can be real specific. Will people do what you want? Maybe. At least they'll know. At least they'll know. But so you got advanced directive, durable power of attorney for healthcare, will, now living revocable trust. A legal document that you set up while you are living. Revocable means you can change it at any time. Trust is the name of the document, but that's a powerful name. A legal document that you set up while you were living. Revocable means you can change it at any time. Trust is the name of the document. Trust is the name of the document, but it is also the name of the game. Because what you're doing with a living revocable trust, if you can trust your spouse, if you can trust your children, or whomever you're entering this trust with, is you are deciding that it would be so much easier and so much more loving for you and for others if you set up the house that you own, that you share jointly with your wife, such that if you become incapacitated, she doesn't have to go to court to be able to do what she needs to do to sell the house to pay for your care. Because, let me back up for a minute, I might not have explained it. If you and your wife own your house and you jointly own it, there's a mortgage, there isn't a mortgage, it doesn't matter. Both names are on it. Both names are required, okay, for it to be sold. If you die and you leave it, it passes to your wife. Well, what if you don't die? What if you were in the hospital? You were in a vegetative state. You were in a coma. You were on life support. You left an advance directive, so they're not taking you off of life support because you said, give me a chance to live until I die, period. Okay? So now you, who was necessary in order to stay in the house because your job was half or more of what enabled you to pay the mortgage or enabled you to pay the taxes in the house that was paid off. You don't have that anymore. So now spouse has to make some independent decisions in order to take care of your care in your fancy facility where they're taking care of you very well, or in order for you to have in-home care, whether it's hospice care or whether it's long-term care and rehabilitation. And you can't afford to do that and keep the fancy house that had the $5,000 a month mortgage. Y'all need that money. Living Revocable Trust says that if one of you is incapacitated, the other one, within 2 weeks of your incapacitation, can make a decision on the property that you jointly own so that it can be sold, so that you can be cared for, so that you can be cared for. What else does Living Revocable Trust do? Say you own some things outright. You got your main property, you got your rental properties, cars, whatever the case may be, high value items for you. I don't care if your house is worth $20,000. It's your home, owned free and clear. You got 3 kids. You don't want them to have to pay $5,000, $10,000, go through probate for them to get a third of the $25,000 of equity in your house. It's a wash. And if my math's not mathing, I'm actually doing good on my math today, which is surprising. I went to law school for a reason. So I'm giving you the best that I got. Come on, Ms. A. I'm with it today. But I'm saying, you don't want them to pay in court fees and legal fees what they're going to gain in equity. Or you don't want them to lose a fourth in equity of the value of your property. Living Revocable Trust means the property is for you, for your enjoyment, for your use, as long as you are alive. It doesn't change your tax consequences. If you decide to sell it, you can. If you decide to borrow against it, you can. If you decide to just keep it as an asset that you're enjoying until you go on to your next chapter, it don't matter what you believe, reincarnation, journeying on, heaven, hell, don't matter, next chapter. When you die, when this chapter ends, it then is immediately for the enjoyment of your heirs, whomever you've named in the trust, whoever you trust enough that the two of you walk with that property jointly while you're alive. It's yours for your enjoyment. It's theirs for when you go. People often think that this is expensive, right? They look at, it might cost $2,500. It might cost whatever for me to get this set up. It doesn't have to, not necessarily. It doesn't have to. But even if it did, even if you had to save $500 a month for 5 months, if you had to save, $100 a month for 25 months, I don't know, whatever schedule you're on, even if you had to put it on your credit card and pay it down in order to have this peace of mind, in order to get this set up for things that you value, so that when you leave, there is no mess, so that there is a quick transition for your spouse, for your kids, for yourself, for you to be cared for. Wouldn't you rather, if you were incapacitated for 3 months, that when you woke up, you had had the best of care. You might not still be in that house, but you would be alive, you would be well, you would be able to get your therapy, you would have your family intact. Wouldn't that make sense? So that's what the revocable trust. Do you want irrevocable trust? No, bad boo. That's what my property professor, Howard University School of Law, Professor Schumer, 1996. Irrevocable trust, bad. Boo. That's what he taught me. And I remembered it ever since. Bad boo. Irrevocable trust. No. There's no reason for you to do that. And especially now with the advances in the law. You don't want to do irrevocable. Your heirs may want you to, because they may want to make sure daddy liked me this month. He might not like me next year. He switches up. He bipolar, whatever. They may want that. But that's not necessary. What is necessary, and by necessary, I mean a living revocable trust, is the most important document you need. Out of all the documents that I named, if you care about guarding what you've worked for, whatever that is, you've worked hard, you've saved, you've earned, put it in the trust. Put it in the trust. Trust yourself, trust your loved ones enough. If you still got young kids, we covered that. That's in your will. If you got mom in them and you don't trust them enough, put whatever you're giving them in the will. If you have life insurance, the people who are the beneficiaries of your life insurance, that's separate. That's a separate provision altogether. If you have investments that are specifically delineated for another person, that's separate. This is things that are not covered by that. Okay? And I hope this is helpful to y'all. Y'all are on here, but you're quiet. Which means I might have you on overload. So I'm done for today. I've covered my 4 topics. I do want to say that there's nothing wrong with you wanting experts. Okay, if you want experts, like you want to figure out the things that you want. I want a will, I want a living revocable trust, I want an advanced directive, I want a durable power of attorney. I'm not sure how I'm going to do all of those things. I've got ailing parents. One just got diagnosed with dementia. Or we see the early signs of Alzheimer's. So we want to right now, while they can be clear about everything, get things locked in. There are sources. Advanced directive and durable power of attorney for healthcare. These are my suggestions. National Hospice and Palliative Care Organization. Advanced directive for healthcare. Those are the numbers. Okay. And if you go onto the site, you can download the forms from there, all right? So advanced directive and durable power of attorney. This is when you're making decisions, usually for older loved ones or for loved ones, pandemic or otherwise, who have been stricken by an illness unexpectedly that is deteriorating. And you can see that it may be deteriorating rapidly. So you want to be able to make these decisions. Seek out help for those decisions. There's a way to do that here. Let me give you something else. Trust and will attorney. You can go to the American College of Trust and Estate Counsel. There are those numbers. Or you can go to Martindale-Hubbell. Okay. And when you go through Martindale-Hubbell, get the ones with the high marks. All right. Martindale.com, lawyers.com. These are nationwide databases. You can find somebody in your area, but get high marks, and not just high marks. You can get a 5-star attorney who knows everything you need to know about intellectual property. You don't need that right now. You want high marks for trusts, wills, estates. Trust, wills, estates. Is that what they do? Full time. People come to me all the time. I've been doing these seminars for a long time. They ask me to write their wills, do their trust. No, that's not what I do. Criminal defense, civil rights lawyering, I can do it in my sleep. Wills, trust, I know what you need to do. I've taught on it. I've taught in it on the law school level, and I teach it to adults. But what I am telling you is what you need. When you want to do the actual documents, you want to either go with form documents that you trust, or you want to do it with a lawyer who does this and gets high marks doing it. So the other thing that you can do is go to, let me look this up. Let me see. Go to SuzieOrman.com. SuzieOrman. Go to SuzieOrman.com. She has a specific category for wills, trusts, estates, where for what could be considered a nominal fee compared to what this stuff really costs. If you go into a lawyer's office, there are forms you can download, information you can fill out, and then you get the documents with your information in them. And it's a base, it's a place to start, or it's a place to finish. Your situation may be uncomplicated. If you got a lot of stuff, you got a lot of properties, rental properties, investment accounts, etc., no. This would be a place to start and then take it to a lawyer. But if your situation's relatively simple, go there. She offers tutorials, she offers classes, she has a podcast. All of those things are available, but there's also something you can pay for. You can download, you can fill your information out, you can get the forms for all of these things, for advanced directive, durable power of attorney, will, living revocable trust. That should be in your head now. The 4 things you need: advanced directive, durable power of attorney, will, living revocable trust. You need all 4. Which one is most important? Living revocable trust. Yes. Make your decisions now, so there is no mess later. I'll repeat this the way we started. There's freedom in this. There's power. There's power in this. Take these decisions and make sure that they are your own. It honors you. It honors everybody you love. It's one of the best things you can do. And you know when's a good time to do it? Now. Today. Today is a great day to do it. Even if you just take, I always have, I don't know if you guys see me looking to the side sometimes. I have my notebook here. It has everything. My notebook and my pen has everything in it. Jot down your wishes. Just jot it all down. Do an inventory. You will have more that you value than you think. Even if you don't own your house outright, it is still something that can pass intestate or testate. So make the right decision. Even if there are things that you own in common with siblings, like homestead or grandma's house, what's going to happen with your percentage? Make the decision now. Living revocable trust. Will. Durable power of attorney. Advanced directive. That's reverse order. Advanced directive. Durable power of attorney. Will. Living revocable trust. Have them all. Okay. Do y'all know really what an hour of my time on this stuff is valued at? You got game today, folks. Let me check my questions. Okay, first question. Why do the banks freeze the accounts? What if the family needs it for burial costs? The family is out of luck if the family needs it for burial costs. So that's another thing you want to do. You have elderly relatives, and they're starting to need others for their decisions. You need a durable power of attorney. You need to have an account in common, and you need to be in a position of trust, because then the amount of money that's necessary in order for funeral expenses, and whatever those amount to, that is already set to the side and it is accessible. So that is part of the planning. That is part of the planning. And granted, all of this involves trust. You don't want bruh man who's gonna take his joint access to the account and spend all the money, and then you're just out, I was gonna say out. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Bare with nothing. That's not this. It's positions of trust. Durable accounts such that it's for the person while they're alive or while they are not incapacitated, and then it is for you to make those decisions once they are gone. Let me see what the next question is. Do you need a will if you have a life insurance policy? Absolutely. A life insurance policy gives money to your beneficiaries and survivors in the event of your death. It says nothing about your assets, and you are not assetless. You have something that is worth delineating, writing down, and spelling out who gets it and who does not. I don't have time today for disinheriting children, unknown children out in the world. At some other point, I'll come back to you probably in a seminar, not free game, and list for you all what happens when you're the baby mama of a baby daddy that has 4 other baby mamas and who gets what. We got to deal with that later. That's not for today. It's not for today. Or unknown children, unknown spouses, unknown properties. A lot can happen. But these are the basics. Advance directive. Durable power of attorney. Right? What are the rest? Somebody say it for me. Will. Living irrevocable trust. Living revocable, meaning you can take it back. You can change it. And if you do these things on your own, then changing them becomes easy. You can revoke, you can reinstill, you can change. There's freedom in it. You're not bound by it just because it's written down. As long as you got your mind, you can change it yourself. All right. I hope that you have found this valuable. I have been on here way too long. But I want you to internalize this information, to look up the resources, to please share this. When I post it, please share this. If you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do, because that will be the only way to get full shows in just a few days. But for now, it will be on my Instagram and it will be on my Facebook page, facebook.com/I am Monique Pressley. If this information has been helpful to you, I pinned today, you can support our work at $MoPress, or in my bio, there's a link tree. You can support through Business PayPal, and you can support through Patreon. You can subscribe and you'll get all kinds of other stuff, like I'll give you all the PowerPoints that I used for this lesson, for example. That would all be in Patreon if you subscribe. So you agree to support us monthly through that. But either way, there's no gift that's too small or too big. We appreciate all, the full spectrum and everything in between. And I pray that you are blessed. I hope that today we made wills and trust make sense, and that you will act accordingly now. I'll see you tomorrow, live at noon Eastern Standard Time. Bye-bye.